Good evening, everybody. God damn it, I forgot about polling day, Paul. We're voting for the police crime commissioner here, and I wanted to vote as well, and I forgot. So, a polling station will be shut by the time we finished waffling, so that's that blown. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody here. Nice, bright and early. Let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat. So, we've got Paul Howells of Pandyman.
Fuck off, Cheese Me.
We have Cheese Me, because of Ben, Stroke Crispin, Darren Harmon, Spam and Egg, who, for those who don't know, is David's other half. So yeah, Cheese Me's already started trolling David. Good man, good man. So we're hoping to have a good show for you tonight. We got lots to talk about. The main thing that we're going to be going on about is we've got our survival guide. It's focused about around obviously UK GEs coming up at the end of May. But a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is relevant for any wargaming show or event that you want to attend. And we hope you'll find some value in it. For those of you joining us for the first time, though, we're going to be following our usual format. We might rush through some of the early stuff and start our main topic slightly early because we've got quite a lot to go on about.
It's a meaty one, isn't it?
Yeah. Focus, that's new. That's rude. Rude! Cheese. Rude. Step one, make a list. Oh, I think... Cheese Me, have you been sneaking a look over our shoulders? Have you been copying our homework, Cheese Me?
He's fucking bugged. He's
what?
Bugged our phone.
Right, that's it. I'm sweeping the room. I'm sweeping.
To ignore the list. Cheese Me, fuck off and get outside of our heads.
Oh dear. Darren, so yes, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, over the next couple of hours, we want you to get some hobby done. There's nothing entertaining about what she does, so while you're here, you might as well do something fucking useful, all right? So if you're doing anything hobby-wise, then put it in the chat or in the comments under the video if you're catching us later. Let us know what inspired you to get done. So Darren's straight out the gate. He's finished updating his project. Are you talking about your what is it, spring clean challenge on Tabletop, mate? He's about to start painting a load of badgers, bunnies and owls, all from my Oakbound minis. Okay, Oakbound, that sounds really cool. Are they actual animals or are they anthropomorphic, like as in like the stuff from, is it Oathsworn? Similar idea? Forbidden Psalm scenario that uses animal cultists. That sounds really cool. Ewok, right? Okay, so that's Ewok finished. See you later, Ewok. Ewoks are 3D printed.
To be fair, it shouldn't take much setting up because it's just plug and play, isn't it?
Yeah, I went through your Instagram. It'd been ages since I've given you any likes, Darren. So I went through your Instagram the other day and give you a few likes on your pictures. Some amazing miniatures. Those wheeled geists look great. I love the look of. I'm assuming they're metal from the look of them, but they look fantastic. Okay, so actual animals, but they don't do massive beavers. It started early, folks. It started early. Hello, Trevor, stroke Upworlder. You're welcome, mate. You are more than welcome. And for everybody who doesn't know, Darren Harmon, is it Demon Sub minis or just Demons?
Yes, it is Demon Sub. It is Demon Sub. To be fair, I've been lacking in
on Instagram. Go and check the guy out.
Shit.
Not only is he prolific, but he does an eclectic mix of stuff. It's not all one-dimensional. You'll get all sorts of random crap popping up. It's all painted and presented and photographed beautifully, and it's just a great inspiration to get in your Instagram feed. Just whenever anything pops up that Darren does. So we're going to follow our usual format. So the first thing that we'll do tonight is David and I will chat briefly about what we're going to be working on ourselves, obviously as presenters. David tends to do better than me because I tend to get sidetracked or just fucking drawn into not shutting up. So I'm sure he'll get.
I barely said a word, and I'm just ploughing through my trees right now.
So no doubt he'll be doing. David will be doing more work than me, but we'll do that first. Then we'll have a quick chat.
When's it any different, mate?
Yeah, then we'll chat about what we did at Gaming Club on Monday night. Then there's a little bit of news, not a hell of a lot, and then we'll get into our main topic. As I say, tonight it might be slightly before 9 o'clock. But let's crack on then. So do you want to go first, mate?
Yeah, bear with me, and I'll actually turn my desk cam on because I believe
that it's gone off.
It's a very stationary image for you.
It might be. I haven't looked.
There we go.
There we go. You're up. 3, 2, 1. You're back in the room.
So
Comedy is a real word.
Seeing the wood from the trees
and
putting basing material on my woods.
I have a low alcohol beer to keep me refreshed, although I might have to disrobe at some point and lose this jumper because I'm sweltering.
I have a Magma Hazy IPA to drink. So that's the main thing I'm doing tonight. And then the other thing I might do is put some sealant on some of my MDF terrain. We'll see.
So what are you going to do? Spray a bit of airbrush priming?
No.
No?
No, not airbrush ASMR. I need to seal them. I need to put PVA watered down onto them.
What, to seal those bases?
No, not these bases. Seal some MDF terrain that I've built.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
To be fair, the only sealing these fuckers need will be the Oh, yeah, I've just put water all over my mouse. Well done, David. Is the application of some water.
Oh my god, you fucking absolute putz. Oh dear, that's brilliant. So off camera, guys, we've had him, he's basically poured turpentine over everything. And now we're basically hosing all the electrics down with the water bottle. Awesome. So if David does go up in a puff of sparking flame, then we know that that's a mixture of dodgy electrics and vaporized turpentine. Awesome. Dear God in heaven. Right, okay, well, should I? I'll...
Hey, Paul, I thought you weren't watching.
Yeah.
shouting strip.
To be fair, mate, that is probably why he did shout strip. That's why he shouted strip, because he hasn't got to suffer it. So he's thinking, I'll make everybody else suffer. So let's move the pipe lighter. So myself, I'm still working on these little totem features for the Frostgrave game. Still getting paint down on these. So I'll be... I've first of all got to finish off doing the mahogany brown for the leather wrappings, which you can probably just about see on this one. So we're doing mahogany brown on the leather wrappings. Then I want to paint the skulls. And then these two little detail features, I'm painting these as like clumps of fungus, and then there's like an offering bowl at the bottom of each one. So they're only like quick little 4-colour paints, but you know, they're basically game markers, objective markers, so they don't want a huge amount of work going into them. So that's what I'm doing. Exciting prospects for this show. What, me stripping? Fucking hell, you need to get out, cheese me. I was largely supported their confidence building journey, confidence on their core. Oh, Ewok. Burlesque. Oh, yeah, that would be great. That's the After Dark edition, by the way. Join us at midnight. Next.
Over on OnlyFans.
No, was it? We've got our own. Was it Only Paints?
Only Paints.
Only Paints. Cheese Me's new XXX adults only hobby platform.
Space.
What the fuck? So
the OPs.
Before we get into club, I'm going to hijack. I'm going to do a little mini review and PSA. So, last weekend was my 28th wedding anniversary, and my wife, legend that she is, bought me a ton. Well, I say a ton. She bought me 4 of the Dunsmouth TT Combat.
Not TT Combat,
Not
you fucking
sorry,
heathen.
War Cradle
You
Scenics. I do
prick.
that every time. Every time it pisses him off. War Cradle Scenics, Dunsmouth range. She bought me 4 of the smaller buildings. This one is 3 Providence Lane. I'll put it under the close cam because you'll be able to see it better lit. He says, "Is my close?"
But it's MDF. Don't set it on fire now.
Is my close cam dead? Hello, phone. Wakey, wakey. Okay. I was using you but a minute ago, but okay, whatever. There we go. Thank you.
You turned me off. I'm not doing it.
Okay, so let's. Oh my God! Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Just check that box, somebody. Right. Okay. So this is 3 Providence Lane. It's basically a little residential building. It's got like I guess it's 3-story, and it's got a little balcony area at the top. I mean, it's a great little building. It's got a little fire escape on the side. I tell you what, these buildings for me are pretty much probably some of the best pre-painted AMDF on the market. Assembling a building like this basically takes an hour. They are so quick to put together, and that includes drying time between the stages to make sure things like window frames are fixed before you move on. They've got just enough details to bring them to life. So like the fire escape here, this one's got like a window box and the drain pipe, which is glued onto the back. They've got little the windows come in 2 sections. There's the bit that's molded, the upper panes are molded to the outside, and the inside is actually a separate piece, so you can actually place it so that it's up or down, so you can actually have open windows if you wish. They don't have any acetate film, which is probably the only thing they could do to make them really top level. Is just put some of that in the kit, but they are very good.
Sorry, just because you want foreground quality.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, the thing with foreground is they take hours to build. The kits are so technical and fiddly that, and I think these kits are, for me, are a real brilliant compromise. You get a great looking piece of terrain, but the build times are so bloody quick, and yet you've got features like opening doors and that sort of thing as well. Another thing that I am particularly impressed with this one is that it's got a removable roof, which these things normally have, but that only allows you to access this loft area. So they've thought of that, and basically this entire back wall, if I can, comes away.
You're what?
So
the gable end comes off.
Right. So this entire rather than this being glued or bonded in, this entire back wall is only held in by basically 3 little. It's basically held in by friction on this lug here, and there's a couple of notches up on the top here. So you can actually access and internally play with all 3 stories of this building, which I think is great.
Just you be careful with your internal playing, bearing in mind this was an anniversary gift.
True.
Just
that
saying.
Is very true. Now, I will accept that I think that with removing and replacing this back wall on this peg or lug at the bottom here, this would probably wear and become very loose. I mean, at the moment, I can tip the building and it doesn't fall off, which is great. But having thought about it, it's not beyond the wit of man. Just buy a couple of those 2mm block magnets and just glue them to the wall, and then a couple inside on the surface on one of the floors. The roofs have a really cool system where one side has got like a double guide, like you can probably just see you've got two MDF guides very close to each other.
I am so fucking glad you're doing this review and not currently watching chat. Because we've got it all. It's just full of euphemism.
I'm glad the guys are able to take it and run with it.
Friction.
Yeah. I'm glad the guys are able to take it and run with it. But yeah. And I think I haven't checked because they're present, but I think Ross said that these kits are like 12 quid for these little buildings. Something like that.
They're not a bad price. Bearing in mind my big fish one was about 20, I want to say, that I got last year.
So, and as well as the building, you obviously get, in each kit, you do get a little handful of accessories. So with 3 Providence Lane, you get a US-style mailbox made out of MDF and a couple of cute little sort of like street scenery benches, which are rather cool. So yeah, she bought me 4 buildings in total, and that I've already assembled. I've already fully assembled 2 of them. That was one. This is the right. Okay, guys, brace yourself in the chat. This is the tackle shop.
Is it now?
Yeah. So
that's pretty.
This is the tackle shop. Again, I built this in an hour. Okay. It's a single-story building.
That is one thing I will say. The War Cradle stuff does go together quite nicely, quite quickly.
All of this.
It only took me a stream and a bit to do my fiddly as fuck Dunsmouth one.
Yeah. Now, I mean, this building is reasonably plain. It's got some nice touches. It's not very visible on camera, but that has actually got the business logo engraved into this end wall as an etch. On the back here, it's got like a display basket, and you get things on the sprue to put in there, like these big fishing poles and harpoons that you can actually put to display for sale.
Harpoons is very Cthulhu. I think you should put all of the harpoons in and no fishing rods.
This business sign at the front is just simply 3 pieces of differently cut MDF, and you just glue them in. You glue them together, and it gives you this layered effect of ropes hanging. They're so clever, the designs.
They do a similar thing on the Wild West Exodus stuff where it's cables.
Yeah, I'll be honest, having built some of this stuff, we did talk on the stream about what I was going to buy.
Have I got a feeling you're going to go buy some Ria Sonora?
I do love TT Combat's terrain, but the fact that I can spend an hour and this is finished and ready to play, it just takes all the painting. The painting MDF is a fucking ball ache. Also, with this kit, you also got loads of extras. I've actually stuck them in the house inside here, but you get anchors to just put outside.
Has somebody been fucked by them?
You get these really cool little barrels which have got, like, again, the business logo on. They're obviously designed to be fish, and they've got fish barrels with a lid. You get like storage pots for, I presume, lobster and sea fish. You've got and then you actually do get lobster pots as well. The only thing with this is the only bit of the kit I haven't finished. These lobster pots come in about 12 different pieces, and you've got to put all the individual slats onto the sides, which is a bit of a fiddly job and requires tweezers.
I found with the application of some super glue,
rather
than PVA, it works really well.
I might do that, mate. I might, because I did think PVA might be a bit fiddly to do this, because it'll take forever to dry. So that's the only thing I've got left to finish. But other than that, that's like 2 kits done. I mean, literally, me and the missus were watching TV. I think we finished about 9:30. I started on this kit by 11 o'clock. I'd finished the kit, cleaned up my mess, and it was all it was all sitting ready to dry.
You are painting yourself into a corner if you're cleaning up your mess and leaving the rest to dry. Just saying.
No, I'm sure the lads know exactly what I mean.
They're calling you out for the dark patches on the wall. They're from the youth pastors rubbing themselves against it.
The dark patches on the wall, that's just basically where the PVA's dried. But do you know what? It doesn't... The thing is like, when I was doing the kit, I've done these kits so many times, I don't take care. I just let the PVA go everywhere, because when it dries, it just gives the building a weathered, splotchy, uneven look, because you don't want it to be too even. You don't want the coloration to be flat. I think it adds to it. I mean, that's, I might be an idiot, and everybody's saying, oh, that's a scruffy shit job, but I think it's cool. But yeah, there we go. So that's by way of a public service announcement. Stroke.
Apparently, you have crabs.
I do have. Do I? Right. So there you go. Job done.
I see Spam has been very quiet through all of this.
Well, to be fair, she hasn't been able. She hasn't been able to get a double entendre in edgeways.
What, with all the other lads?
Yeah.
Right.
What did I get? Oh, Cheese Me's put me on the spot. What did I get my wife? A 28th anniversary. The traditional gift for 28 years is amethyst, or one of them is amethyst. So I got my wife an amethyst ring.
Paul.
I know. The guys are going to just.
Don't get me wrong. I love Ross. She is wonderful. But you would have got less for murder.
Oh dear. So yeah, I got her an amethyst ring, and we're really into our detective dramas. So I bought her season 8, I think it is, of Shetland on DVD, because there's no fucking way I'm paying.
Jesus fucking Christ! You call it PVA, but we know it's baby batter.
Darren's painting his badger. Oh my god! Not shaving. No, not shaving his badger. Badger for 28
Spam's
years.
Being quiet so she doesn't get blamed.
Yeah, 28 years. There's if you do enough research, Trevor, there's a traditional anniversary gift for every single year up to about 50. Some of them are weird. It's like last year, 27 years, it's statues, or something like that. So sculpture, I think it is. So, but as I say, traditionally, you'll find lists online.
Do some interneting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a bit of an aside. Let's show it.
Club.
Yeah, go on then. Club night.
I can't honestly remember what I got up to. What did I get up to? I played something with Ricky.
Firefight. You go first, because you weren't that impressed, were you?
Don't get me wrong. Firefight is, and I will say it now, and I may get shot down for it.
Kill him.
An all right game. It's all right. The main reason I say it's all right, it's not egregious like 40k for the rules overhead and all the other bullshit. But the reason it's all right, I don't like mantic sci-fi stuff. It just doesn't speak to me. I would much rather pay some OPR. Do some 3D printing, or commandeer a fucking army that I've already got. So that's the scores on the doors. It was my first game. I think the final scores were 12-10 or something to that effect.
Right.
Ricky was playing his Marauders, which are the Orcs, and I was playing his Enforcers. I think we had about an 850-point game. So yeah, it was what it is. That was me. Oh, fucking Spam's ever the eloquent other half there.
Why?
Forgot her glass before she got in the bath, so she's just necking it straight from the bottle.
Classy spam.
No
nice.
one says I have to use the official Mantic minis. No, but Mantic deserve my money. And I already pay for the compendium, so I have the fucking rules.
Forgot your glass. Yeah, right.
So, therefore, they're not getting any more money from me because I pay for the fucking rules every month. On the rules front. So, I've got to really go out and buy some official minis.
What did you find the gameplay a bit thin, or was it literally just the miniatures?
It's the gameplay was all right. It was nothing to write home about. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with it.
Did you?
And I know I might get hated on.
Did you feel that you got the rule set? You sort of bedded the rule set in quite quickly.
Yeah, the rules were a piece of piss. I do quite like how combat forces you to then disengage straight afterwards.
Yeah.
So
you don't get bogged.
Yeah. Oh God, people are bonding over being from Essex. Your turn.
That's spam starting something.
Yep. It is.
So, what did I get up to at club? We played the next instalment of our Realm of Chaos, Slaves to Darkness campaign. So, the two Chaos Dwarf warbands met in full force in the chilly northern wastes, just in the Chaos Wastes. So we played an ice and snow table. This is basically we did a custom scenario again. For those who remember, and if you don't, go back and watch our old live streams. V's warband, which is Slanesh based, he won the last scenario, and his champion of chaos took charge of a magical item called the Vial of Hashut, which is a magical vial containing some blood of the god Hashut. And basically, as his embittered corn following brother, resentful of my brother's success, I got wind of his activities and decided to ambush him in this gorge in the frozen wastes. So V's warband was deployed as if it was in march formation, just going down through these mountains in the center of the table. And I basically put one unit of my Chaos Dwarves in front of him as a blockade, and then put all of my other units in the hills around him so that I could spring at him from all sides. We played with the 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy Battle rules, which I haven't used in earnest since I was 16. So it's about 35 years since I'd last played with this rule set. So we took it slow. Bearing in mind we only had about 25 models aside, we still took most of the evening to play this game because everything was a learning experience. Every turn and a dry was an event. So this is V's warband. So he's got his Chaos Champion towards the left of this image. Just above him is a group of Orc archers with their cool Chaos conversion of horns sculpted onto the miniatures, which is really cool. He's then got a bevy of Chaos Hounds here in the bottom center. And then just behind him, he's got a unit of Chaos Cultists armed with bows. So he'd got a very spell and fire and ranged based list with the Chaos Hounds just for some close combat punch.
Yeah, but haven't they got limbs that are slowly falling off and everything else?
Yes, unfortunately, they all lost a leg. So the Chaos mutation he rolled was lost limbs. So these dogs, although close combat they're still fairly effective at fighting. They're incredibly slow dogs hobbling along on 3 legs apiece. So it did mean he wasn't very maneuverable. So here is the zoomed out view. So the observant among you will just notice V's stuff is in the middle. Over to the table far right, you've got my group of Chaos Dwarves. Along the bottom edge, I've got a small group of Skaven, Chaos Skaven, another group of a group of Beastmen, and my Chaos Champion with his conversion, which we showed off a couple of weeks ago, which I did for a painting event. And then up at the top, I've got my other 2 units, which is a small unit of Chaos Hounds and another unit of Chaos Dwarves, just right on the top edge of that photograph. Bizarrely enough, I used the Mantic dog models from the Abyssal Dwarves kit, because we only noticed when we were playing Chaos Hounds in 3rd edition are on a 25mm square base. They're not on the elongated cavalry base in 3rd edition. So mine were correctly based for the edition, V's weren't, but we're just playing for shits and giggles, guys, so we weren't obsessing about all that sort of crap. So anyway, the game got in. I got stumped a bit by the terrain. I think if I'd have had more experience with the 3rd edition rule set, it's got some great rules for turning 90 degrees so you're moving in columns so that you can snake through terrain features and then reform up into a battle line. It's got a really great movement system in 3rd edition. It's probably one of the best mass combat movement rule sets I've ever used. The combat is GW through and through, so it's probably too much dice rolling and a bit grindy, but the movement in 3rd edition is absolutely fucking killer. Unfortunately, I failed to make best use of it and ended up getting bogged down in the terrain, which when your opponent is chucking ridiculously powerful magic and shooting at you every turn, didn't really go too well. The only success I really had was my Chaos Hounds broke through, as you can see at the top here. They very quickly went between these 2 hills and engaged his archer unit on towards his rear. And Chaos Hounds are brutal in this 3rd edition. They throw a lot of attacks. They're high strength, and they're really, really quite powerful in combat. It did become
tell the boys and girls at home what happened to your leader.
Yeah, well, as I was going to say, the game ground on, as 3rd edition fantasies want to do. Just if you think in 3rd edition fantasy you can play like tables full of miniatures like you can in 8th, then think again. 3rd edition fantasy sings when you've got, say, 25, 30 models per side. Once you start getting, it doesn't work well with big units. It doesn't work well with big armies. It just takes far too long. It's like playing 2nd edition 40k with 2,000 bloody points worth of models. It's just not. Having said that, the points, 30 models does cost you about 2,000 points in this edition because everything's so ridiculously expensive. An individual like minor demon, like a bloodletter or a fucking plague bearer, is about 90 points, for fuck's sake. That's for a single model. So it goes to show you how expensive things are. But yeah, it was a fantastic game. It was really well balanced. V was putting a lot of casualties on me with the shooting. But I just had that one success, and that was all it was needed. My hounds broke through into his back lines and sort of like made his job very difficult. They sold themselves really well. He managed to shut down my Skaven unit with the Purveying of Slanesh spell, which basically, if you fail to stop it, disables a unit until your opponent attacks it for the entire game. So it's like, okay then, that's pretty powerful. So he basically shut down an entire 8-man Skaven unit in like the second turn of the game. It was crazy. At the end of the game, I decided to charge my champion into combat with him. and unfortunately, he just basically spammed fireballs at me and blew me apart, killing my Chaos Champion dead. So the obviously the Chaos Champion was taken out during the game. Like Frostgrave in Realm of Chaos, you roll for injuries at the end of the game. We rolled for my champion and he died. Unfortunately, Khorne was not willing to let his death rest, so Khorne raised him from dead, and he's now an undead skeleton champion of Chaos, which means he can't advance anymore, can gain no more Chaos rewards or attributes, and crumbles to dust after a year and a day. But it does leave the door open for us to play just one more game with my warband against his. So what we're going to do is we are going to start the whole process all over again. This time I'm going to be taking Tzeentch, and I'm hoping V will take Nurgle. So we'll repeat the process using the Lost and the Damned, which was the second Realm of Chaos supplement, to build 2 more warbands. One Tzeentch based, one Nurgle based. We will then run a mini campaign for as long as it runs before something crazy happens. And then when we've when that's run its natural course, we will do a super battle where my united warbands, both my Tzeentch and my Khorne, led by my dead champion of Chaos, will take on both of his in some sort of battle. So there's, basically, some of you might be thinking, hang on a minute, didn't you only play 3 games in Cold Blood before this sort of whole thing petered out? And yes, we did. Let's be clear, I do have the option of retiring my dead war champion and promoting one of my guys to the new champion, but that means sort of like promoting a random bog standard Chaos Dwarf and starting the whole process again. But actually, do you know what? I'm happier to let it run its natural course. If I'd have got a character model in there, if I'd have rolled up, say, as one of my follower roles, if I'd rolled a character or some individual model, I would happily just turn him into a new champion and just keep going. But for me, it makes more sense that he is that we draw a line under this, start the process with something a little different, and then come back and have a massive, event, if you like, at the end. This is old school gaming at its absolute best. If any of you guys have, particularly if you're my age and you encountered this when you were younger and less experienced and really didn't have either the hobby chops or the confidence to do it, revisit it and do it now, because it is a fantastic both gaming and hobby experience just to play about in the world that Games Workshop created back in the 80s and 90s. It's an amazing place, and it's such a tragedy that it's become the sterile, faceless corporate thing that it has now. But still, that's me done. Let's stop prattling.
Right. Quick foray into the news. Very quick.
Don't be almost tempted to, Darren. Do it. Yes, so into the news.
What are we going with first?
I'll tell you when I get the browser up. Let's go with this. Okay, so I've just been. In fact, let's do this properly. Main scene. Where is it? So shakeable. So there's. I'm just going to give myself a light seasoning so that I can.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What are you getting salty about now?
So guys, if you I saw this video. This video came up in my video feed. It nearly went away. I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna say this now. Don't watch this video. I'm putting this video up here so that you can make a note of it and don't watch it. This is essentially a 5-minute video of two guys having the saltiest, shittiest game of competitive 40k that you've ever seen. It is miserable, and what's great is when you watch it, it's just liberating, because you just think, that's why I'm done with their bollocks. So yeah, awful video. Don't watch it unless you've got a severe masochistic streak, or you need to find out why it is that you don't bother with Games Workshop and their shitty products and their stupid corporate bollocks anymore. Right, on a more positive on a more positive note, David, do you want to tell everybody about the No, tell everybody about the new miniatures from Carnivale, because that's what I've got queued up.
Ooh. Yes. So, boys and girls, they are slowly teasing more and more stuff in preparation for UK Games Expo.
Yeah, onto a game that isn't shit.
New miniatures coming for, I think, one or two of the factions at least, but we have been graced with the appearance of some of the models before UK Games Expo. So we have La Grazia Industrial Works, which is a complete gang for the Doctors. These guys look fucking good.
They do.
Really, really fucking good.
The painting on them's great as well.
I like the fact that there looks to be 3 ranged units in this.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that so much, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but you won't like that because you're not a Doctors player.
Fucking guns. What the fuck?
Then there's some new stuff at the... Is it the Vatican or is it the Patriot?
Yeah, it is. No, it's the other one that's labelled as new on their website is Rashar, which is the Hydra set.
Oh.
Which look fucking amazing. Their miniatures just keep getting better and better. And I tell you what, is it me or are their studio paint jobs getting better and better as well? The blends and that and the colour on these looks fucking amazing. I mean, this miniature that's sort of like part man, part tentacles, the way he's got his whole leg just degenerates into a tentacle. So he's standing on one tentacle and one leg. It just looks fucking amazing. The guy, I guess the ghoulish looking one at the front left looks a bit generic, but the other monsters look amazing. They're just fabulous. Now, I don't know I can't speak as to the quality of the sculpts. I've had mixed,
or the quality that you're going to get out of the box.
Yeah, I've had mixed quality control issues with TT Combat's resins, but I'll be honest, when the quality is good, the miniatures are great. And to be fair, even when they're not good, as long as you're an experienced hobbyist, all the issues can be fixed with a bit of filler and a bit of patience. It just can be a bit frustrating, particularly when you've been spoiled for years by perfect, snugly fitting, hard plastic miniatures. But swings and roundabouts, guys. At least the game doesn't blow sailors' cocks. So that's a plus.
Got a bit dark a bit quick.
Sorry?
That got a bit dark a bit quick.
It's true though, isn't it?
Next.
So Ewok says he likes Rashard generally, but not impressed. Is it because they're getting too monstrous and not human enough for you, Ewok? Because a lot of the original Rashard stuff was very, everything was very humanoid, wasn't it? No, I totally, I agree. Ewok says because of the prices they charge, should we need experience and patience? To be fair, look, I'm not happy about it. I think you're right. They're a company that's big enough now. They should have better quality control systems. Whatever you decided to manufacture, you should get quality control right first. These are luxury products, but it doesn't mean that they're luxury products. They're not cheap. They should just be good.
I mean, that set's nearly 10 quid a miniature.
Yeah, because that, as I say, there's that generic looking ghoul nothing in it. I suppose that is true. That is 10 quid a mini. But they do look fairly
It is nearly,
sizable.
isn't it? 30 quid.
I mean, what are they? 40 mil, 60 mil?
750? 750 a miniature?
Yeah.
And they won't come with the cobblestone bases for that price.
No, that is true. Those cobblestone bases are an extra that you've got to buy. So that is another fair point.
Ewok's been bitten by the quality bug at TT Combat.
Yeah, no.
Just naff looking sculpts and don't trust the quality.
Yeah. That's fair. It's fair, Ewok. Nobody can call you out, mate. That is fair. Now then, mate, the one you really wanted to talk about. Faux Hammer
has done a review. And again, sorry for all the boys and girls at home that don't like ones and zeros and digital printing.
I'll sit here making R2-D2 noises. Bloop, 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 bloop,
Resin, bloop, bloop, bloop. Saturn 4 Ultra. He's had a pre-release copy. He's done a review. There's some good. There's some bad to be taken from this. But I'm getting one. I've decided I'm getting one. The main reason being I'm running an OG Photon, which is now, I think at this point, 4 years old. It's at least 4 years old. I think I got it just before the end times. And it's running an RGB screen. This is mono, higher resolution, self-leveling, and we use that with a very copious pinch of salt, because what they actually mean is self-zeroing, because there's springs in the bed to level the print to the screen. It doesn't mean that it's actually trammed and true to the screen.
Okay.
Yes, she does know, Cheese Me. Another downside, they haven't included a heater on this. It's a bolt-on option that you can pay 50 quid for.
Okay.
For heating your resin to get better quality prints. What they have instead included is an AI web camera. Now, I get the principle of it, that it sits there and looks at your model and goes, oh, you've got a failure. Firstly, for the first few layers, which are the most important, they are fucking inside the resin vat. No camera on Earth can see that shit.
Okay.
Secondly, the camera in the picture on the screen at the moment is located in the back right-hand corner. If you fill that bed up completely, it's not going to detect a fail on the far side of the fucking bed, because all of the supports and miniatures are going to get in the way and block it.
Okay.
Other thing is, it's a little bit of a bigger print size for me. It's not as big as the original Saturn 3 Ultra. And the main reason for that is they have included a tilt mechanism at the bottom to basically third your between layer times. So rather than it being 6 seconds to raise up, then go back down, you're looking at 2, because it actively tilts the bed to reduce the force as it lifts.
Which dramatically reduces your times, your print times?
And reduces your failure rate as well.
Oh, okay. That's a double win then. That seems like a natty feature to have gone with.
It swings and roundabouts.
But on balance, having seen the review, you think it's worth the money. Just out of interest, is it expensive or is it good in terms of?
I want to say just the other side of 400.
But for those of us who don't know, is that competitive? Is that well pitched with the competition, or are they?
It seems to be about the right price for the market. They've cut some corners with not including a heater, but while they've done that, they've added some other bits.
Yeah, so it's not a premium.
Saturn 4 Ultra on pre-order is $429 of your US dollars.
Oh, okay.
So it's just under 300 quid.
And it's freely available over here yet, or has it got a release date?
It's on pre-order. It's coming June, July time.
Oh, okay. So it'll be a couple of
£343 sterling as of today's rate.
Okay, cool.
Mid-range home model or a high-end hobbyist. Yeah.
And the bed size.
Oh yeah, the bed. It's the bed size.
Is that sort of one of those things where it's only going to be an issue if you're doing big terrain pieces for miniature printers? It's not going to really be a thing because it's plenty big enough for miniatures.
Yeah, but the other thing is you can put more miniatures on per print. So
evening, Toros. Good to see you. Chris been saying get the Wi-Fi. Is that an option then, David? Is that an add-on extra?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is automatically included on the Ultra.
Oh, it's an auto. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So really, the only extra you'd consider is the resin bath heater?
Yeah, basically.
And again, is that for the same reasons that it reduces failures?
Yeah, it helps reduce the failures. It makes the resin flow more freely, that kind of thing.
Okay. So you're not going to get voids or sticky patches or...
Yeah.
Okay, coolio.
It does 150 millimeters an hour. The build volume is 218 mil by 122 mil by 220 mil tall. So you're looking at, what's that? 9 inches by just under 6.
Okay, that seems fairly big.
So, have we got any more news? Because we're only 10 minutes before main topic.
The only thing we're going to blister through this at a rate of knots. You guys may know Dicini in Norwich is on Sunday the 5th of May, in the Forum, which is an event centre slap bang in the centre of Norwich. Dicini is on. David and I will be going. We just have a quick rundown of what's going to be on. You've got, in terms of demonstration games, they're running a really lovely Space Hulk game with 3D printed terrain. That's being run by the guys at Rock, or sponsored by Rock Minis. ROK. Obviously, Paul Pandyman will be there with his trench offensive tables, both his old one and his new one with the crashed plane and the machine gun emplacement, which looks absolutely fucking amazing.
Paul, just on a side note, did you sort the shit that we got at Hereward?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes.
No, I didn't, but I was thinking about maybe trying to blister through it and get it down to him and take it with us on Sunday.
Worst case scenario, we can give it to him at UK.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was probably more realistic, because I want to get my miniature done for painting competition, which is due on Monday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And I haven't even touched it yet. So, well, that's a lie. I have primed it, but that's as far as I've got. They've also got a Aftermath Gaming Club, which I think are the gaming club that founded the event. They've got a easy to play moderns scenario involving sort of like I can't remember. Does it say here? I don't. I think it's set in the 1980s. I thought it gave a period to it, so it's like a 1980s crashed helicopter, special forces
Vietnam
versus
era.
special forces versus sort of like local militia thing, which should be cool. Scrolling through some of this other.
We've got another table of Ket's Rebellion, so they're redoing that this year.
That one's further down the list.
Last year.
One of the things we missed last Durham Renegades Wargames brought the Occult Wars Reborn rule set and did like a haunted house scenario with like Cthulhu monsters as a participation game. We missed out on that because we didn't have enough time. The club is back. They're running the same idea. I don't know if it's the same scenario or terrain set, or whether they're just doing the same idea but a new house, new story. But I'm hoping to be able to get to play this and get the guys on camera talking about it, because it looks really interesting. And I've never played the Occult Wars rule set or the Reborn version. So if any of you guys in the chat know anything about the Occult Wars Reborn, feel free to stick your oar in. This is something that was also featured last year because it's a local thing. This is a historical reenactment of Ket's Rebellion, which is a story from the I think it's the bloody
16th?
Civil War, isn't it?
Yeah, 16th century, isn't
it? So it says it tells a true. It's all based on true events that happened in the Civil War around the city of Norwich. Was really popular last year. We didn't get to play on the table because it was just always busy. But it looks like they're bringing it back for this year, so maybe we'll get a chance to participate in that. And then they're running a Blood Bowl demonstration table again. Aftermath Gaming Club are running a Blood Bowl game, just to bring in new players and sort of like show them how that game plays. Lastly, there is a demo run by the Cowards War Games Club, which is I don't know what scale it is. Is it 6 mil or 2 mil? It's basically a reenactment of it was a Scottish battle, I believe. So basically it's the last Caledonian stand on Mons Graupius against the Romans in AD 83 or thereabouts. So they're playing this battle out in some preposterously tiny scale. So hopefully this will look cool, and maybe it'll be participation, maybe it'll just be demonstration. We'll have to see when we get there. I'm completely never heard of the rule set, Strength and Honor by Mark Backhouse, but again, we'll probably be able to tell you more on the day. And last but not least, I believe they're running a demonstration table for Mantic's Halo Flashpoint.
Yes.
Which is
Rock's doing that, isn't he?
No, it's Core.
Oh, it's Core, is it?
Core are doing the Halo, Rock are doing the what was the first one we said? The Space Hulk. So that's a quick rundown of some of the games. Now, obviously, there can be many a twixt cup and lip, and maybe some of those things won't end up happening. So 2mm, that makes sense, Toros, because it did look absolutely preposterously tight. It basically looked like they were playing with pieces of sandpaper, so in the photo, so that does make sense. Yeah, the Rock Minis stuff is really good. Oh my god. Bell End. Why are they on about bell ends? Do I even want to ask why this? I don't think I want to ask. Move on, Paul. So there you go. That's it. That was the news. So for those of you who are not are reasonably local, we'll see you at Diceni on Sunday. Right, mate. We're coming up to.
Oh, public service announcement for Paul up handy, man.
Oh yeah.
I have received your email. I'm going to sketch some shit out and talk to you about it on Sunday.
I love the way we're talking in code here across the fucking internet. It's like encoded messages across the internet. Okay.
Look, at least we're not doing the German style and using a fucking Enigma machine.
Yeah, that's only because we'd break an Enigma machine within about 5 minutes. We'd have technical difficulties and all the wheels would fall off. So,
spit his dummy out somewhere.
I'm assuming he's off playing bloody BattleTech again.
Tim?
Talking of Germans. God damn it.
9.
Right. Shall we get on to our main topic then, sir?
Shows. Survival guides.
Boo!
Let's give you our top tips and helpful, friendly advice from the Yellow Belly Tabletop crew, because it's about the only helpful advice you're going to get off us all year.
Yeah. And to be fair, when he says helpful, we'll put massive bunny ears around that. We'll put Oathsworn levels of bunny ears around that. So yeah, Let me get our slideshow up. So again, we're back to presentation mode, guys. So no more talking at the back. If we can have some decorum, please.
There will be an exam at the end of this.
There will be a test. So make sure that we slideshow. Afraid so. And if we get it done in plenty of time, I'll then show you my holiday snaps from Cumbria 1999. Okay. So first slide. We've broken it down. Helpful. Do you know what, Cheeseme? That's probably what he meant. Get help from a couple of fools. So we've broken it down into 4 main categories, our sort of advice. We've got the pre-show preparation stage, on the day, some special advice for multi-day events specifically, and then lastly, a little bit about after the event and things you might want to think about when you're coming down off that high, and just to finish the process off.
And trying to explain the plastic crack addiction to the missus.
Yeah, making your excuses. So apologise for spelling errors. Well done if you spot all these spelling and layout errors. This was done at about 2 a.m. this morning in a bit of a rush in preparation for tonight's show, because I knew I wouldn't have time to do it at lunch at work. Because my job's mad at the moment. So yeah, well done you. Just keep it to yourself. Can you see the screen, mate?
Oh, I can.
So I'll go first. First thing that we've got here: buy tickets in advance. Discounts are often available. So it doesn't matter what gaming show event you're going to, or how you become aware of it. Most gaming events now, war game shows or paint competitions or whatever the hell they are, tournaments even, will have ticket sales available in advance.
An early bird discount.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon for them to give discounts to people who buy in advance. Obviously, from their point of view, saving them time, cash handling, research, and pissing about on the day. So, make use of it, guys. Make sure you do your research, find out if you can buy tickets in advance. Do that and save yourself a few quid. Do you want to take the next one, mate?
So, planning your travel, it sounds silly, but obviously plan whether you're going to take public transport, plan whether you're going to drive up. If you're going to drive up, where are you going to park? Do a little bit of research into the event venue, etc.
How much is it going to cost you?
Yeah, all of those kind of things will help you plan, and hopefully it be a little less of a headache on the day itself.
Some of our international viewers might be a bit surprised at this, but you probably wouldn't be shocked, as we do have a bit of an international reputation as being a bit of a joke in our country. But actually, the logistics of getting from A to B, even places that are ridiculously close to each other, even though less than a couple of 100 miles, this country, it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's not often very easy to do it.
Again, full context here. Us to Diceni at the weekend, it's an hour and a half in the car. If we want to travel via train, we're looking at over 3.
Yeah, work that out. Yeah, I mean, Darren said they're carrying capacity, because obviously this factors into your travel arrangements. What are you planning to do? If you're playing in a tournament and need to take like a couple of 100 miniatures with you, public transport or a car, it's all got to factor in. Next one, research the actual event itself. So we've just been looking at Diceni's Facebook page. There is a floor plan on there. There are event sort of teasers. They've got brief breakdowns of, they've got adverts for retailers. They've got adverts for demo games. Check out all of the resources you can find. It might be public media, it might be social media like Facebook or Instagram, it might be blogs, it might even be full YouTube videos if the place is super organized or has some sort of associated media sponsor. Yeah. So yeah, obviously you want to know everything you can about both the event and the venue. When does it open? When do you start? Do you need to turn up early if you're entering painting competitions or tournaments? You know, where are you going to park? What are you going to eat? Can you get food at the venue? Another one that David thought of actually, and isn't common, but I can imagine it is something that will happen at some venues. Are there prohibited items? Are you allowed to take your hobby snips, your craft knives? Do they have a bag search, or is there a prohibited item list? Make sure you check that stuff out, guys, because you don't want to be turning up and then having half your hobby kit chucked into a bin because you're not allowed to have it in the event. Do you want to take the next one, mate?
So outside the venue, again, in a similar vein of what Paul said of researching the event and parking situation, do a bit of research on where it is. So, for example, Norwich, we're going to Diceni at the weekend. We've already said that we're going to nick to Langley's, which is a nice little wargaming store, not but 50 meters from the hall.
Yeah, the forum that's hosting Diceni is, as I said earlier, slap bang in the centre of Norwich. So you can walk out of the event and you are in Norwich shopping centre. You within 10 minutes walk is everything that Norwich has to offer on a Sunday. So
again,
some events won't be so lucky.
Check it out last year. We're going to nip to Athena, which is probably, I think, about a 10-minute walk away, isn't it? But again, on the flip side of that spectrum, you've got UK Games Expo. It's a self-contained situation. You're not really going outside of the venue.
No, the only thing you'll find within walking distance is an industrial estate, which is not going to be very, very much use to you, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Or the international train station.
Yeah, true. There is that. But again, not really going to entertain you during the day. Great for travel, but pretty much fuck all else. Next, so continuing your pre-show prep. This might sound fucking obvious, but I don't know how many shows David and I have been to now, but I can guarantee one of us will forget something. Think about all the things that you're going to need, guys. Phone chargers, spare battery packs,
tables,
bags to put your shopping in. A lot of these places won't have a big stack of carrier bags to give you for your purchases. If you're buying board games, you probably need to bring your own bags to a lot of the smaller ones. Think about that. Also, cash. Not everywhere takes card, don't get me wrong. 99% of places too. But things like, quite commonly at the smaller shows particularly, you'll find charity raffles and that sort of thing where you buy tickets and you can win donated board games and that sort of thing. Those kind of events don't tend to take cards. Those sort of things you're going to need some sort of cash. And also, again, if you're in a painting competition, a tournament or whatever, remember to take your army. Remember to take your submission. Don't fucking get halfway there and forget that, because that'll ruin your event. Over to you, mate.
Next on the list, I know we've already said about planning outside of the venue, planning in the venue, but don't spend 4 days planning for a one-day show. Things may and probably will change. So spend a sensible amount of time, say an hour, doing a bit of research. But I question if you're going to spend longer than that.
Yeah.
Depending upon the situation.
Yeah, so again, this is just sort of a way to balance up what we're saying. That don't overdo it, guys, because...
Oh, fucking Cheese Me has massively stepped in here. Budget!
Oh, good shout. Oh, my God. Well done, that man. Well done, man. So, yeah. We didn't have it on the list, but we're going to put it under... We'll talk about it now. I'll talk about the next two. So, we actually had shopping lists. So, obviously, think about... There will be retailers there. think about anything.
A fucking spam's just attacked me.
That's awesome. Yeah, so there will be retailers at most events, even small ones. So to give you a live example, David and I don't have anywhere locally to get the full range of Vallejo model colour. We can only get them either via Amazon, or David has to go to, where is it you go, mate? Cleethorpes? Mablethorpe. On the coast, where there's a place that has them, but that's still a fair old trek.
Yeah, weirdly, the fucking place on the coast has more fucking miniature paints than the place near the city. But we'll gloss over that subject.
But we know that there's a good chance that even if it's not at the venue, we know that there are shops in the centre of Norwich that do the full range. So the one thing that
mentioned Langley's.
Yeah, so David and I will be going through updating our paint list, thinking about, do we need any of these replacement paints? Do we need any new colours to complete our collections or whatever? You know, think about all that sort of stuff. Again, there might be specific games you want.
The lads in chat
let's tack onto this Cheeseme's genius budget, okay? While you're thinking about what you're going to buy, think about how much you can actually spend. I tend to do this more for UK Games Expo. UK Games Expo is already a very expensive experience once you pay for your accommodation and food and everything else. To go in there without any restraint or any idea of where you're going to hard cap yourself for your spending on your toys can be dangerous, because it's so... So, I mean, I'm not saying that your budget needs to be hair shirt. I mean, I normally allow several £100s, so I am quite lucky to be able to indulge myself. But even if your budget's high, have it.
Before, UK Games Expo for us is an experience. It's a 3-day event. It's the biggest show of the year. Rules are there to be broken a little bit occasionally.
Yeah. So Darren puts maybe a soft budget limit and an upper hard limit if you see something you really, really must get. Yeah, keep those budgets flexible, Darren. That's awesome.
Hide the receipts from the wife and partner. Don't use a drawing account, and get your mate to filter them in over the next month. Thanks for that spam.
Also, get them posted to a work address. That's always good.
Yep.
Good tip. Yep. And then bring them home from work, hidden in the coat.
Hide them in the back of your car, and then just happen to have got this weekend.
And then each week when you come back from club, just bring it in with your club stuff, just one box at a time.
Piecemeal it in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. V gave me this week. Dan gave me this week. Oh dear.
The thing is, you can never say to Ross, David gave me this.
To be fair,
Trevor, you'd be lying out your ass.
Upwelder says, would it not be best just to withdraw the cash and then leave the wallet at the room? Do you know what? I mean, whatever floats your boat. If you're the kind of person that has no discipline, so you literally have a wad of cash and when it's burned, you have to stop. I guess if it works for you, fucking do it.
So next on the list,
yep,
we got pub games and card games. This is mainly for multi-day shows, but again, could be applicable if you're travelling up with a mate for a single-day show.
I was going to say, it also could be very relevant if you're using rail travel and you want something to play on your 3-hour train journey that takes you 60 miles.
So
here in the UK, anyway.
When we're talking about these, we're talking about games like Exploding Kittens. What's another good example? Magic decks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that's relatively quick, relatively small, relatively easy to play, and just pick up if you need to.
Ultimately, anything that you could play on a pub table. If you could throw it down on a pub table, it's perfect game for this sort of category. David and I tend to bring Magic decks, don't we, mate? Because
Yep.
Particularly if you're not playing Commander, if you're just playing traditional Magic, it can last 20 minutes. You can cram all of your cards on a table. If they're sleeved, it doesn't even matter if it's a particularly clean table.
And you can get security guards at UK Games Expo to go above and beyond when you lose the fuckers through the pub floor.
Absolute props to that security guard that went under the fucking decking on the back of the pub. Which franchise is it?
The Wetherspoons.
The Wetherspoons pub. They've got like a decking, and I dropped a card between the slots. And the guy actually went in underneath the decking. This fucking, I don't know if he's a security guard or one of the maintenance crew. Fucking legend that man was. Absolute star at like 7 o'clock in the evening. And he didn't even sneer at me and call me a twat, which was brilliant.
I did, on the other hand.
Well, yeah, everybody else did, but he was a legend. Last but not least, clothing. So you're probably going to be on your feet all day. So, think about that. Don't wear something that's going to be pinching and crushing your toes after an hour. Just because it's, because
6-inch stripper heels at home unless that's
the 6-inch stilettos are no good, guys. Even if they have got the shiniest buckles. Also, when you get 2,000 or 3,000 people inside a large building, it tends to get a bit fucking hot. Just a tip. So even if the event's running in December and it's freezing bloody cold or pissing it down with rain, think about what you're going to be doing in the venue. It's all very well to come dressed like Scott of the fucking Antarctic, but what are you going to do with all that clothing after 30 minutes when you're a desiccated husk who sweated out half your body weight?
I do like spams here. If your wife and partner complains about what you've brought home, simply drop the conversation of 10 dresses or tops she'll have ordered in the sale that still have tags on and she's never worn. At least we're getting enjoyment from our toys.
Yeah, Darren.
Don't clip that fuck.
Where is Tim? Tim, clip it. Darren, hiking boots. Good shout. That's a good one.
Layers. Yeah, layers is a good shout as well.
Spam says, please wear deodorant. I can't overemphasize this enough, guys. Like, just the sheer amount of body heat that human beings generate. You don't, even in this country in fucking winter, you don't need to heat these venues. They warm up all on their own.
Spam has been spying because that comes into the next bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Walking boots are very good for walking, these shows, but slow pace can really kill. Oh, God. Bring a tent. No, Darren, I think that's a bit extreme, mate.
What fucking shows are you going to where the roof's blown off?
Yes, but you could equip stockings, less effective for David. Oh, I don't know, mate. You obviously don't know David that well.
Fuck you, Paul.
I'm going in stripper heels and stockings. What, both of you? Jesus. Okay. So next category, mate. On the day.
So it's me, isn't it?
I don't know. You can go first. Go for it.
No, it's fine. So if you're going, most of your tournaments and things are pre-registry. It comes into the preparing stage. But typically, tournaments at UK Games Expo get an allotted time to run, whether that be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, etc. Occasionally, it's decided before the show. Occasionally, it's sort of shoehorned in. I know last year, the Bloodfields tournament was very shoehorned in last minute with when it was actually running. It only got announced on Discord, I think, 2 days before the show. So once you know when you're going and where you've got to go, whether you've got to drop off a mini for a painting competition, you then know what time you've got left to go and peruse, try demo games, do everything out.
Yeah, and I know this one's probably a niche one because there are lots of people who won't be submitting to painting competitions or participating in tournaments, etc. But the reason we mention it at the top is really because we were doing this list in order of priorities. If this is you, do this first, because we said it before. Things change. Even if you read on Discord, our registration's at 10 o'clock, blah blah blah. As soon as you turn up, go and fucking check it's still at 10 o'clock, and that they haven't moved the venue or moved the time.
The other thing I will say on this note, it's not overly applicable for small shows. But bigger shows, for example, UK Games Expo, Salute, if you're going with a friend, arrange a fucking rendezvous point.
That's a good shout.
If you get missing, from one another.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these places have shit phone signal because the sheer number of bodies that are trying to use the internet.
Yeah. I mean, this is a particularly good thing to do if you're going to UK Games Expo, because obviously you've got stuff outside the venue, you've got 2 or 3 halls inside the venue. If the chances are you can literally turn your back and your friend will be lost in the fucking crowd. If you've said, okay, well, if we're separated for more than 15 minutes, meet near Games Workshop, you've got a backup plan for finding somebody, and you might need it. But that's a good shout, and it's one that we'd left off the list. So good shout, mate. The next one again is conditional, because this isn't going to be relevant for everything. Scout out the event. Just have a quick walk around. This is only relevant for small events. You couldn't do this at either Salute or UK Games Expo. If you do a quick walk around at either of those events, half your day's gone. They're so big, this is not practical. But somewhere like Diceni, Chilcon, Hereward, those places are quite compact, small little venues. There's you probably take a few hundred square feet, few thousand square feet max. You can walk around, you can take a quick 10-15 minute circuit and just clock everything that's there. Okay? It's always a good idea to do this, because if you've got your heart set on a particular demo game, hey, they might have had a transport issue and they've not turned up. They may have had to cancel because of XYZ.
What? It's easy to find your friend. He's the fat one with a beard, or the one with no hair and glasses, or any combination of the above. Yeah, that's again, other shows before we got the Yellow Belly t-shirts that we had last year. Me and Paul, well, I particularly typically wore the brightest orange hoodie that I could, or a really bright red t-shirt. Main reason being you stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. As I say, scouting out the event, not always relevant, but if you can do it, the event is small enough, just do it, because all the research you've done, stuff may still be changed, stuff may still be different. Do you want to take the next one, mate?
Next one on the list, yeah. I know we've said earlier about making a plan, don't spend too much time on the plan, but obviously we've just mentioned scouting out a smaller event, or again, registering for your tournaments, etc. Once you've done that, grab a drink, have 5 minutes with your mate, go for a smoke, whatever it is, whatever your vice is. List what you really want to do and prioritize it, and make a plan and try to stick to it. Now, by no means it's the be all and end all, but if, for example, Games Expo, not last year, the year before, we couldn't get in on the Everdell table, we couldn't get in on the Fallout Waste and Warfare table on day 1 or day 2. We made a conscious effort on day 3 to go and do it first thing in the morning at the show as soon as doors opened. We made a beeline straight for Everdell, didn't we, mate?
Yeah, we did, because it was the only way to guarantee that experience. Again, the other thing is, this is just as relevant at a small event. We went to Diceni last year. We did not get to do everything. We had to pick and choose what we were going to do first and say, okay, well, if we have time, we'll do that. Even a small 2-hall event with like 20 or 30 stands, you'll be surprised how quickly 6 or 8 hours goes by. It's not a lot of time.
If the show is on a Sunday with Sunday opening hours 10 till 4.
Yeah, in this country we have quite short opening hours on Sundays. So just have a think. If I don't get to do X, is it the end of the world? No, it goes to the end of the queue. Put the things that you want to do at the top of the queue and stick to your list. Don't be dragged off, all shiny, and then bang, there's half an hour gone. That's, a big slab of your day you've just lost. Okay? And this sort of feeds into this. Don't be over ambitious with your plan. Okay? You are going to want to take rest breaks. You are going to have to queue or wait at times. You are going to have to eat. You're going to have to probably go to the toilet as well. So don't fucking have every minute of your day allocated to doing something constructive. You know, you're not at work now, and it's not going to work. You're going to break. The whole thing's going to fall apart by about 2 or 3 hours in. So don't be over ambitious. Be realistic.
Ewok, isn't that an event where you put your car keys in a bowl, mate?
Walked around with your zip drive open.
Next slide, please, sir. I've got to wait for it to pop up because
he's on a lag.
Delays. Yeah, I can't help it. It is what it is.
Time travel, you lazy bastard.
Fuck you. Shopping. Again, it comes into what we were speaking about earlier with travel plans. If you've taken your car, how far is it from the venue to the car park? Hereward, it's literally what? 50, 100 meters tops
maximum. To be honest with you, when Hereward gets in full swing, particularly if it's warm, they'll open these fire exits and you can literally walk 15 feet to your car at the fire exit. So dropping stuff off is dead easy.
Some retailers won't mind putting boxes behind the desk with your name on, particularly if it's a big purchase. Or, again, they're a decent, reputable company. Warlord and other things. Games Expo is probably the epitome of this. When you've shopped and your hands are full and you can carry no fucking more, go to the drop-off zone if you're on public transport and you pay basically for a box to ship all your shit to your house. Yeah. Then go and shop some more and keep filling that fucking box up.
Yeah, as I say, obviously this is again something that does vary with the venue, but whatever size of event, you need to think about it. Some like David says, places like UKG, your options are quite bewilderingly huge. But you know, don't sleep on this, even if you're at a small event. Particularly if you're planning to do a lot of shopping, because do you really want to be carrying 4 fucking bags for life full of shit around all day?
Again, if you've got a backpack because you were organised, pack your backpack full first before you start packing the shopping bags full. No, I think, to be fair, UK Games Expo, even if you came from another current country, yes, there's a premium for it, but they can ship directly to your house.
I personally don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if you could pay for international. Like David says, be prepared to fucking pay, but I imagine it's doable.
Next on the list, sir.
So the next one we've got is a bit of a catch-all topic. I've put gather information, but this can be anything from as trivial and silly as just remember to take some pictures. You know, you're out on a day out. There'll be great things to see. Just take a few pictures or videos just for your own memories. On a more serious note, or on a more engaged footing, remember, a lot of the vendors and a lot of the displays will have business cards. See something that's absolutely fucking cool and you just think, oh man, I'm going to need to check their web shop out later. They're bound to have business cards. Pick them up, because you'll forget half of this shit without it.
The other thing on this, some vendors, Chaos Cards for example, if you purchase something from them, will slip you a little slip in the bag to encourage you to buy from them in the next 12 months before the next show. They give you a discount code.
Which will be appearing later.
There's several different options on this. It's not just the pictures, it's not just the business cards and going, oh, this is cool. Or again, if you've got mates that you game with and you see something that is up Joe Bloggs' street, grab a fucking business card for Joe Bloggs, because Joe Bloggs couldn't attend.
Yeah, that's true.
Help the community.
Yeah, as I say, a lot of smaller companies and smaller operators in our niche really do rely on the advertising from these sort of events massively.
Last one on the list. Shop around. Don't be lulled into, oh, it's a show. It's an amazing deal. You've got a phone in your pocket. You've got access to the internet. Have a check.
Yeah.
Go round and see if there's other vendors that might have it a little bit cheaper, etc. Once you've crossed off those bases, do it. Prime example here, us and Flames of War. We looked at it at Dicini last year in 2023, and it was 70 quid each for the starter set, and we almost pulled the trigger, didn't we, Paul?
Yeah.
We said, no, fuck it, let's wait. We then went away, went to UK Games Expo, and saw what was basically a 100 quid army box for 50 quid. And we were like, yeah, we're getting that, because that is too good of a deal to miss. We had our phones out. We were checking other suppliers.
Yeah, and to be fair, I can think of I can't remember what it was actually, but what you were talking about there is obviously, getting stuff at a different event and maybe postponing that purchase altogether. But you bought something at UK Games Expo, and I remember trawling around with you for about 30 to 40 minutes, checking all of the big retailers to see the price of it. What was it? Was it Arkham board game? Or one of
It was Arkham board game 2 years ago. Last year, I was looking for the Zombicide.
That's
game,
right. Yep.
The Wild West one, and no one had it for cheaper than I could have bought it online from Zatu.
Yeah.
So I didn't pull the trigger on it, and I still haven't pulled the trigger on Zombicide.
But I think with your Arkham,
bring that into it.
With your Arkham board game, that Arkham 3rd edition board game, you saved about 10 quid, 15 quid by shopping round. And that was literally, we took a bit of time. He didn't just buy it at the first seller. We walked around, we checked Zatu, Chaos.
What it was last year, it was Nemesis for Luke.
That was right. Yeah, that's right. You were shopping for somebody else. That's it.
Oh, God. Everybody's going, oh, Spam, didn't you go to UK Games Expo? No, she didn't. It's David and Paul's Bromance 30 weekend away. Yeah, I get to sleep with a traction engine all weekend.
Brokeback Expo. Fucking hell, Ewok. That's fucking genius, mate.
Spam, do you want to just put in chat what you quoted to
my God.
when you found out I was going last year in regards to ears, babe?
Mate, I've just thought, should we actually should we use that Ewoks thing as a video and thumbnail title for when we do our coverage?
Last year we did the video that wasn't live because we left you lot all to it.
Very good point,
and we were away. But I do remember sending a photo of that setup to Spam, and Spam replying, going, that looks a little bit like a porno setup.
Did you see what Cheese Me's put here? When you're deciding whether something is cheaper or a great bargain at the show, remember the entry price that you've paid, which is not a bad shout.
Yes, but I also think that depends.
Yeah, I agree, because you're paying for other aspects of the experience, but it's still a fair point. Do you know what, Darren? I am sorely tempted, because that is just fucking comedy genius. Brokeback Expo. Fuck me. Oh,
we need that as like a little tagline on the bottom of the shirts.
Oh my God, if I could commission some art. Oh my God, that would be hysterical. Right, shall we move on? I think we've done on the day, haven't we?
I've done.
So we're on to our.
This one is kind of a crossover onto the next bit, but if you're buying stuff and it isn't necessarily from a major manufacturer where you can complain afterwards, maybe give your minis a once over.
Yeah, we've got that coming up, mate. Yeah.
Check your change when you're given change if you're not paying by cards. Again, check your card receipts if you're at the show, because I think you were charged twice last year by Steel Harpy, weren't you?
Yeah, it wasn't obviously not deliberate. They had a glitch with their card machine, and I ended up paying double for some airbrush stencils, and I think it was. It was just a handful of money, but you know, once I realised what had happened, I went to them and they were like totally cool with it. Showed them my online banking app. They gave me the refund. So yeah, it's always worth checking these sort of things, guys, because the Darren, bloody David said about the internet gets massively overloaded at these venues. What with attendees and retailers all trying to piggyback on the fucking Wi-Fi for their card machines, glitches happen and stuff does happen. So check.
Fucking chat's just full of degenerates.
Yeah, I don't know why we invite these people. It's fucking ridiculous. So multi-day events. First one. With a multi-day events, the clue is in the name. There's more than one day, and those days will probably be different in some way. We touched upon this last week. UK Games Expo has a real pattern to it. So like Friday is a weekday. A lot of people.
Oh God, fucking Cheese Me's just got another brilliant video title.
Empty wallets and full sacks. Oh my God. And then we could put Soho Experience and do it crossed out and put UK Games Expo underneath it. So Friday tends to have the lowest footfall because it's a weekday and a lot of people can't get the time off work. Saturday is the peak footfall and is mad fucking busy. Sunday tends to be quieter than Saturday but still extremely busy, and you get a lot of retailers running very low on a lot of shit because obviously they've been caned by purchasers. So weakest day probably for shopping because you're going to get your choice dramatically reduced and a lot of options go away. If it's your first time at event, you will not know any of this. But if you think about it or check out YouTube videos, blogs, research people, anybody talking about the event at previous years, try and get a feel for the kind of things that you need to take into account. Some of the multi-day events, like Adepticon in the US and like I say UKGE here, vendors might not be at all 3 days. They might only be in on the Saturday and the Sunday. They might not attend on the Friday because of the lower footfall. There can be all sorts of things going on. So bear that in mind when you're making a plan. Yep.
Some retailers will fire sale the fuck out of everything on the last day because they don't want to go home with it in the van.
I haven't seen that happen commonly at UK Games Expo.
3D printing one, not last year, the year before. Okay. Everything was like a third off compared to the Friday and the Saturday.
Because they wanted to clear everything.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. Do you want to take the next one, mate?
It is rare it happens, but it does occasionally happen. So it's a multi-day event. You've probably got a hotel, or again, you've driven up because it's a relatively commutable distance.
Or if you're a jammy bastard, you've got somebody who lives around the corner and you're staying with relatives or friends.
Yep. What are you going to do in the evening? Where are you going to go eat? What transport modes are you taking? Because let's be honest, you're probably going to have had a couple of beers, so you're not going to be driving. Food, particularly at UK Games Expo, is a fucking nightmare if you do not book in advance. So book in advance, because even if you do book in advance, there's no guarantee that you'll actually get decent customer service.
On Saturday night at UK Games Expo, if you haven't booked a table at one of the restaurants or your hotel in advance, you will struggle to get a bag of cold chips. It is fucking insane how oversubscribed all the eateries are.
Going back to 3 years into the end times, when COVID was a thing, there was basically no food, and the beer pumps were running dry as well.
That's true,
Wetherspoon shut early, because we drunk them out.
So, again, so you've sort of covered evening activities. Basically, foods we've covered as well. Part of meetups with friends. We talked about having a plan if you get separated from people that you've gone with. But the other great thing about multi-day events is you might have a group of friends. Some are there for the whole thing. Some are only there for odd days. Don't forget to think about, can you plan where you're going to meet your friends on the days they attend? Get together for some lunch.
Fuck off, spam. Fuck off.
Okay, now. And
again, on the meetup with friends front.
Yep.
Going back before we even started this channel, when you were in the arse end of nowhere in Scotland.
Yep.
It was the one weekend a year that we could meet up and just fucking do what we loved.
Yeah.
It was that kind of thing. It was going for the experience and to have a good catch up with Paul.
I mean, that is another great point, because friendships do get separated by time and distance and that, and these sort of events where you do stay for multiple days can be a great way to reconnect with old friends. And
we're back to Breakback X.
Yeah, I knew as soon as you said something we love, I knew that was going to be fucking. It would be like it was going 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. It's like
right,
just a matter of
last
time.
One on this slide. We've said about making a plan. It's even more important to make a plan for multi-day events. Reason being, if you've missed out on something because the queue was fucking hanging out of its arse, or you're umming and ahhing over a purchase decision. Last year at UK Games Expo was a prime example for me when I was looking at the doctors. I sat there one evening and in the early hours of the following morning when Paul woke me up with his snoring, planning what I was going to buy on day 2 from TT Combat for my Carnivale armies.
Yeah. I mean, again, it is slightly different for us because, again, as wanting to make sure we captured content for our live stream here and to show you guys, we probably do more planning day by day than most. But, I mean, shit happens. Like David says, oh, I really wanted to play that game. I mean, last year's Expo, if you really wanted to play Disney Lorcana, you probably had to have 3 goes at that because the queue for it was going around the fucking building 3 times most of the day. So it was what am I going to do? Go to UK Games Expo or queue to play Lorcana? I mean, obviously David and I made the smart choice, which was to sell it a complete fucking swerve. But if it's important to you, you might need to revise your daily plans to compensate for things that you didn't get done. Moving on to the last multi-day event slide. I think this is the last one anyway. So we've talked about shopping a fair bit. One other thing to consider at multi-day events is, even if, particularly if it's not the last day, obviously, if there's something that you really, really want, but you can't find it, just ask the guys running the stand or the stall, can they get it for you? I went to Warlord and there were some things that I wanted, some odd metals that I wanted for my Japanese and early war Brits. They were like, yeah, no, that's fine. Tell me what you want. We've got a guy coming down from the warehouse to restock us on the night run. He'll just bring them for you tomorrow. So
Sarissa, Gaslands templates as well.
Yep.
They'd run out. They said that there was some coming in the morning, and they told us what time to get to the stand because the delivery guy will have been at that time.
Yeah. Not every single retailer will be able to be as accommodating, and this tends to be just the bigger firms. But you know, do it.
The point being, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is, David's mentioned it already. One of the great things to do at the end of every day at Games Expo, just open the stuff you've bought, check your miniatures, check your board games for components that might have faults, missing breakages.
Random dice that don't have printing on. Looking at you, Steamforged, you did sort me straight out.
Because I was just about to say, David's got a real example of this. It was Steamforged Games God Tier, wasn't it? That you had a faulty box of God Tier.
Luckily, worlds with the 3D print files. I have 2 failed 3D prints with him. I realised on the Friday, went back on the Saturday with one of them, realised on the Saturday night that I'd got another fail, and went back on the Sunday, and he was fucking amazing about it.
Yeah, so
but
again,
the point being, if I'd have just left it and sat there in the bag, it's then an inconvenience.
He had a faulty box. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was definitely
last one on this list.
Last of all, we're back to clothing again. Obviously, clothing enters a whole new dimension with multi-day events. Remember, you're going to be there for 3 days, guys. You're going to need plenty of spares of fucking everything. So smalls, t-shirts. You might even want special clothes. You might even want separate clothes for going out in the evening if you're going to restaurants or whatever.
It's like socks. Pack double the amount of socks because you've been on your feet all day.
Yep.
So treat yourself to a new pair of socks before you go out for your evening meal.
Yeah, and we've said it before. These events become fucking sweat boxes. You know, even in the dead of winter, you're going to be sweating your knackers off. So if it won't hurt you to change your t-shirt a couple of times a day.
Cheeseme's just made a very valid
Get
point.
diapers.
The time out for going to the toilet, just get diapers. It's easy.
Yeah, that's probably a good short. Yeah, nappies. Yeah, nappies is the way to go. So the very last category after the event. So David's mentioned, I'll go first because he's got a bit of a lag on the slide. Promo codes. So David mentioned Chaos Cards, I think, had a bag stuffer thing, didn't they, mate? Where they put a slip in the bag and it was like a, 10% off code that was valid for
20.
It was valid for a good while after the show. So if you pick up any of these flyers or discount codes and that at the shows, remember to use them. You might only have a few days post-event to do that, so don't let them get forgotten. Do you want to take the next one, mate?
Yeah, next on the list. Research for next year, when the event might be. Again, UK Games Expo is a prime example of this. Typically, they're announcing at the show when next year's show is. It means that you can start organising holidays and hotels, etc., in the appropriate timeframes. You're not going to get absolutely shafted on the pricing. It will be expensive, but you won't get shafted as badly because you haven't left it till the last minute. The other thing is, go watch some YouTube videos, read some blogs, see what you missed. Because again, everybody has a unique experience at this show. And what me and Paul will bring to the stream after Dicini or after UK Games Expo might not necessarily be your jam or your cup of tea. And we might have completely overlooked the really niche indie board game that you guys want to see and try and play. Go find and mine the resources that are available for you on the internet.
Yeah, and the opposite might be true. Because we didn't go to the things that you went to immediately, you might suddenly discover things that, oh, actually, I didn't know they did that, or I didn't know that was there. You know,
Cheeseme's read ahead and is surprised. We'll come to that in a minute.
Cheeseme's been caught by the trap of reading ahead. Well done, Cheeseme. You fell into our cunning trap. Next one. This is, again, we mentioned it previously for doing it in the evening. Do it after the event as well. And this applies, but obviously this is in the case of a one-day event or the last day of an event. I made this mistake. I bought some Malifaux from UK Games Expo. When I opened the box, an entire sprue missing. And when did I open the box? About 7 months after UK Games Expo. Probably not the time to open the box. Should have opened it on the day, or at least very soon after the event. So again, just check your purchases over, guys. It only takes 20 minutes, even if it's a board game and you've got to unpack it. All board games come with an inventory card, or it's in the rule book or whatever. Just check everything off, because you don't want to be sticking it in your pile of shame and then 2 years later unwrapping it and it's, oh, fucking hell, half of this bollocks is missing. Don't do that. Bad idea. And then the entirely tongue-in-cheek and not at all serious last point is...
sell your spare organs or any family members that are spare to pay the credit card bill that you will have racked up whilst at the show. It's completely and utterly reasonable. We've all got to fund our addiction somehow.
You don't need 2 kidneys. It's an urban myth.
It's overrated. Lungs as well. There's a good market for spare lung occasionally.
Yeah.
Eyeballs, you only need one to see.
Technically, he's not wrong.
So that can go as well while we're at it, because again, people might take pity on you next year and give you a discount.
That's true. You could go on some sort of disability pass. You might get a discount on your ticket. Obviously joking, guys, but yeah, this is where we refer spam. Look, sell your hotel room videos off foot. Fucking hell. You guys are dark. Oh dear. Yeah, and I was just about to say, refer everybody back to Cheese Me's budget argument. If you didn't do what Cheese Me did and made a budget, this is where you'll end up, okay?
I was going to say, last year I managed to hemorrhage in 3 days just the other side of $1,000, and I think you were 200 quid on top of what I did, weren't you?
Mine was I mean, if I separate food and all the other stuff, I must have spent £1,000 just on toys in 3 days. I spent 500 quid in the first day, and then bled the rest out over the last 2, in just sort of hemorrhaging money. But do you know what? It's a once a year event for us, and we tend to blow out. And
I'm not going to say the dark thought that just appeared in my head reading your message, Spam. I will message you it, because otherwise we will get cancelled.
Oh my god. So, right guys, we've got 10 minutes to go. Do you know what? It's almost like we planned this, but we didn't. Trust us. Final thoughts. Don't be intimidated. We've obviously been fucking cracking the whip and going on like a couple of regimental sergeant majors for the last 60 minutes. But it's supposed to be fun.
Oh, fucking hell, what?
990 quid on beer. It's darker there, Tony. Oh my god. Right, quick. Let's remove that comment. Before the channel gets X'd. So, yeah, don't be intimidated. It's supposed to be fun. Enjoy the experience. And this one's really...
Yeah, don't feel intimidated into spending money. Yes, it's a show. Yes, there might be some deals on. But come back to everything that we've already said about. Have a budget. If you're having second doubts about purchase, you probably don't need it that badly. So park it and decide afterwards. Have a little bit of rumination time. Enjoy the atmosphere. Enjoy mingling with people. Enjoy having conversations with store holders and people. Again, prime example of this, UK Games Expo in the evening have the rent a board game option.
Yeah, they do. They've got the board game library.
That down with complete and utter randomers and have a conversation. We wandered through that whole last year. We had a conversation with a bloke about the Magic decks he just bought. We had a conversation with another bloke about the Star Wars board game.
Star Wars. We had some guys were doing Star Wars Rebellion, so we had a quick chat with them about that and what they thought about the game. And to be fair, that's one of the... You see, this is another thing so this reinforces what we were saying about researching your events. David and I have decided that sort of like board game library and that communal play area is something we want to spend more time in, instead of just sort of like disappearing into our little cocoon and like having a beer and keeping in our own little world. We're going to try and really enhance the social aspect when we go next year, or this year it is now.
I don't think we need to play Cards Against Humanity with you, Ewok. It's already fucking dark enough without the Cards Against Humanity.
I was going to say, yeah, you don't, Ewok, you don't need the cards, mate. Your stream of consciousness is like a game of Cards Against Humanity. And again, linking into this sort of like it needn't be expensive, I personally feel that the shopping element of these events, they're not... War game shows are not Sunday markets. There are retailers there that you can buy things there, but there is so much. Even the smallest local war game show will have so many other things for you to do that don't cost a lot of money.
Again, here's the thing: you're at a show. There's demo tables. Demo tables will take you away from shopping. Okay, you may end up purchasing the game that you've just demoed, but they take you away from shopping and they get you to enjoy the experience.
Yeah, and in terms of the shopping, okay, so you see the latest Star Wars Legion or Marvel Crisis Protocol miniature set, and you think, oh, I must have that. Yeah, you could buy that, but there are things going on at that. You could also buy that on the internet tomorrow night when you're sitting at home on the sofa, and you probably get it for the same price. What you can't do when you're sitting at home on the sofa tomorrow night is experience one of these demonstration games or participate in something else that's going on at the show. Again,
the other thing I was just about to say, go support indie devs, go support the people that are startups that want feedback and opinions on their demo games or want you to buy their miniatures because they only make them on a Wednesday in Uzbekistan or something. Go and do that rather than going to the likes of War Cradle and buying the shit that you can buy on the internet at basically the same price.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, Cheese Me, you want it darker? No, really, we're fine. We really are fine. Ewok, people reverse the logic when they play Trolley Dilemma with me. Oh God. So I think we're about done. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We've only got 5 minutes left. I've managed to get 1.5 fucking fetishes painted. So I have managed to get something done, but not a huge amount.
All of the sand on the bases of my trees.
Okay.
With glue. And then I've watered it down so that the mortar's setting.
Okay.
And I've got 10 dwarves glued onto their bases.
Bloody hell. Yeah, again, you've smashed the productivity side of it.
I have been efficient. To be fair, though, Thursdays are like the one night I do hobby because I am quite a busy boy. So...
And long may you keep setting that example, mate, because, you know, that's a good thing. So
it's what we're here for. It's a public service. It's about the only public service that we do.
Yeah.
God fucking hell, Cheese Me, have you prepared your fetish for the show?
It was I'm not going to travel with my fetishes. They're not for traveling. My fetishes are for home only. Yeah. So
and occasionally to share at club.
Yeah. only when I'm playing with 2 or 3 other people, if you know what I mean.
That just sounds like swinging now, mate. Just saying.
We're back to fucking keys in a bowl again.
Yeah, exactly. We've come full circle.
Fuck! Yeah, no Ellen pubic. Good point, Darren. There isn't. Right, okay. Let's sign off, guys. Let's go back to the main view. We're all done with tiny view. So the examination will be held at 10 a.m. On Saturday. So
I thought it was Sunday.
No, I'm just talking about the exam for the test. Oh, I suppose that's right.
But he's wearing marigolds.
Oh dear. Actually, well, we should do it. We should do a line of. Imagine this, right? The same material that they make them bright yellow marigold gloves of, but make cummerbunds out of it. Yellow belly? Is that a thing? Can we do that?
Do I need to wear my Batman lycra pouch at the weekend?
Oh fucking hell! Here we go. It's fucking expanding trousers. It's fucking, oh dear God. Right, yeah, let's sign off. So yes, thank you very much if you watched along. We hope you found the last couple of hours entertaining, and particularly the stuff about the shows. we'd like to thank everybody who was over here in the chat. As usual, they're the legends that make the show as fun and exciting as it is. We're just idiots that try and hold everything back.
Legend versus degenerate, sir. Just saying.
Yeah, we do walk a very fine line. If you could only do one thing, please click the like button. It does help a little bit to lift us in the YouTube algorithm, which is crippling for a show like this and for a channel like this, frankly. Without mass appeal and marketable fucking bollocks. If you can do any of the other things that are listed below, then that's super mega fucking awesome. But all that we ask is a like. It's just a click of a button, but it massively helps us. So I think that's it. We're done now, mate, aren't we? Burned out.
Gadget trousers.
Yeah. Fuck it up.
I'm gonna have to wear it, and you're gonna have to take a picture for the boys and girls at home.
It's fucking. David wears this sort of like weirdest skinny jeans, and then you would not believe the shit that he stuffs in his pockets.
We have wallet, vape liquid, batteries for my vape, mobile phone, car keys, and very occasionally a battery pack and a charging cable.
Yeah, but I mean, again, you see, the thing is, he doesn't. It sounds innocuous when he says it. When he says vape, he doesn't mean that. He means, you've seen like one of them 1980s mobile phones that was actually mounted to a car. He's got one of them. His vape liquid comes in a 5-litre flagon. Fucking is an absolute psychopath. Right. Yeah, that was exactly it. That's exactly what we said. That's why he's Lycra Batman. Cheese me, you got it. Because his fucking utility belt is crammed into his ever-expanding trousers. Oh my god. There's an image. I think I feel sick. We better go. See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.